So now large diaphragm condensers, the kind that we use most, of course, are more delicate, but we're also not using them in that same context. So, they're durable enough that, if you just really don't mess around with it too much, you don't drop it, you treat it, nicely, it's probably going to last you indefinitely. Now, obviously, tube microphones, it is better to leave them powered on because that way, what happens is with tube gear of any kind, just like light bulbs, they often blow when you're turning power on or turning power off. Yeah. Light bulbs rarely burn out when they're just on. And they just don't go, they just don't blow when they're just on and running. It's that powering up and powering down that really puts a lot more strain on the electronics than anything else. So, I don't consider Emmett's to be a bad example at all, because honestly, I do pretty much the same thing. My mic just sits here and it's on, ready to go. And I travel with I use a 416 and I travel with it. But I know that it's durable. I know that I'm not going to, it's probably not going to really cause me any problems. I obviously make sure that the screws are tight on it and all of that stuff, and that the connection points are clean and things like that. But other than that, I don't really do a whole lot with it. And I actually do keep the windscreen on mine as well for that same reason. Yeah. To keep the moisture out and all of that.
Great. I'm the same. Glad to know that I'm in good company. All right. So indulge me on this final question before I get to audience questions. I'm just interested to know, what is your dream microphone, Emmett?
I'm a huge fan of the Telefunken 251 and many of its clones too. The Bach 251 is great also. And I hear the Peluso's cool, but I haven't used it. But there's something about that mic that just sounds really different to me than everything else out there. Right. And I've never been able to duplicate it with EQ. I've never been able to duplicate it in post. Something kind of magic about it. And so I'd love to have one of those hanging here.
Cool. What about you, Dan?
For me, when I was working in music, it mattered a lot more to me. And I used to fantasize about the AKG C1. That was just, to me, that was like the holy grail of microphones back when I was doing music. But now, I'm pretty happy with my 416, honestly. It just works well for me. And I mean, I do have like 40 microphones that, date back all the way from my live sound days. Now, a lot of them are 57s, 58s, dynamic microphones for drums and things like that. I do have a ribbon microphone, a U47 clone, and they're all, they're all just really great microphones. But I don't fantasize about microphones so much anymore. I think if I still worked in music, I would probably, or if I were doing a lot more music, I would probably be much more tuned into, what do I want next, and that sort of thing. But it's, it's much harder to get excited about all those different tones when I know I've got something that really works well for me now.
So you don't have gas?
Well, not with microphones now. I actually could get excited about some preamps and things like that. I'd actually be more inclined. I mean, for me, I know it's not the most expensive preamp, and but I love it, and that is the Great River. The Great River, to me, just has such a forward, beautiful, pristine sound, and it's very versatile because it can get kind of dirty and crunchy, but it can also be really crystal clear. So for me, that's kind of the holy grail of preamps, and it's not even the most expensive one. No.